Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. This small claims court case, it kind of turns into a cluster, and I don't agree with what the magistrate does at the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I know who should have won. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
All right, I see Rick Kirk. Can you hear me, Mr. Rick Kirk?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and are you Roger Kirk?
Yes, I am,
Yeah.
Your Honor.
All right, so Rick and Roger Kirk are here. Are you guys related?
Yes. My nephew.
Okay. You know, the lawsuit is for $432.58. Do you guys think you can work this out? Did you try mediation?
Yes, we did.
Yes.
All right, I'm not going to ask what happened at mediation, but okay, well, your uncle and nephew, so we'll just go ahead with it. If you'd each raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
I do.
Okay, let me take a quick look at this file before we actually get started. And we have a question. Procedure. Ms. Good, was there an actual counter complaint filed, a document, or was there? Or not?
Let me look.
I see a complaint for $432.58.
I see defendant dropped off paperwork to countersue.
I do see that, but it's not, you know, it's not another complaint. And here's where that works. Mr. Make sure I have the names right. Rick Kirk. Well, Mr. Roger Kirk, you filed and I'm holding the packet here, you filed a counter complaint, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
When did you drop that off?
That was
About, I don't need the exact date.
2 weeks.
7/23.
maybe?
I'm sorry, what date?
July 23rd.
Okay, all right. Mr. Roger Kirk, did you give a copy of the counter complaint to Mr. Rick Kirk?
Yes.
Mr. Rick Kirk, do you have a copy of that?
Yes. I got the copy after we had mediation, and he sent all this, came up and said that he filed a countersuit. So that's why we really couldn't agree to anything, because I knew nothing about a countersuit until mediation that day.
So here's what I'm going to require you to do, Roger Kirk. I want you to file an actual affidavit and claim. So I've got one from Rick Kirk. That's where he says he's asking for $432. I need a similar document from you. Ms. Good can send it to you. It's just a standard court form we use, unless you can pull it off the computer, and I'll ask her about that in just a minute. But I need you to fill that out. So Mr. Rick Kirk has that in front of him. I'm not going to send you guys back to mediation unless you think that would be helpful. But Mr. Roger Kirk, how much are you seeking in your counter complaint?
Just $260, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Asking you both, once you have that document, the $260 in the counter complaint plus the $432, do you think it would be helpful to try mediation again?
No.
Okay, I'm not going to force you to go back there again. In that regard, it's not a large amount. Tell me again that amount, Mr. Roger Kirk.
Your Honor, is it okay if I withdraw my counter?
So I'm fine with that. So we're just dealing with the principal complaint here. Okay.
Yeah, I've already lost money. I hadn't called in to work today for this, so.
All right, well, when you withdraw it, I mean, I'm not going to consider it today. If you decide you want to file it at a later date, you can. All I will hear today, though, is then Mr. Rick Kirk's petition for $432.
Okay.
Okay, so I'd ask both of you to raise your right hands, please. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
I do.
All right, and Mr. Roger Kirk, remember that you can't bring up the counter complaint stuff, but if you decide you want to after the outcome of the case today, you can file another complaint for that, because I haven't ruled on that. Do you understand that? Okay,
Yes.
so Mr. Rick Kirk, go ahead and tell me why you think Roger owes you $432.
Okay, Your Honor. Me and my nephew started doing sports card shows in Petoskey at the casino, and they would have one once every 4 or 5 months, 6 months apart. So we wanted to kind of do our own thing. We didn't think that was, often enough. So we looked around for venues. He looked, I looked, and everything was super, super expensive. We couldn't do it. So in the meantime, my brother-in-law passed away, and the pastor of the E-Free Church in Gaylord went to see him in the hospital. And I worked part-time at Myers, and I got to know him pretty well. And this came up one day about this situation, and I asked him about it, and he said, yeah, come on up and talk to me. So I went up there and talked to him about renting the gymnasium in the church to us to have a sports card show. Anyway, went up and talked to him, and he agreed to rent me the room for $250 a day, which was normally all the other places were like $1,200. That's why we couldn't do it, because you had to charge the people that got the tables. That's where you had to come up with the money. You had to charge them $50, $60 a table. Well, nobody's going to pay that, so we scratched that. Anyway, $250 a table or a night was a good deal. So I signed the contract in my name. Everything was in my name. And I told Roger about it, took him up and showed him the room. Everything was good. And we decided, okay, we're going to do this show. Well, in the meantime, he went home and he's typing up flyers and all this stuff and sent them in to Vistaprint and got flyers printed out and the signs made up and all this stuff. Well, in the meantime, I came from downstate, about 20 years downstate, and I did 50, 60 card shows on my own. So I kind of knew how this worked. And I kind of told Roger, we didn't have to do that. My wife made up the flyer, took them to the print shop, had them all printed off, went and got poster board at Walmart, made up our signs, put them on the corners. That's the way I did all of mine downstate. Probably cost me $50. Meantime, he did all this on his own without telling me anything. Not one time did he call me and say, hey, I'm going to do this and this. I thought we were doing this together.
Hey, is that getting into the stuff of the counter complaint?
Yes. No.
So we're not dealing with the counter complaint. I just want to know why you think he owes you $432.
Okay, we're going forward now. We had the shows. The first show on May 17th, there was 53 tables rented at $15 a table. That's $795. On June 28th, there was 52 tables rented, $15 a table. That's $780. Okay, this was
700 what? What was that amount again? The second one?
780.
Okay.
Okay. Now out of that, we were supposed to split the money from the shows after we paid for the room. $250 for one Saturday, $250 for the other Saturday. Well, I asked Roger about it, and he says, I don't owe you nothing. I said, what are you talking about? Anyway, he said, I'm telling, because he started buying all these posters and T-shirts and hats. And, he wanted to say, half of it was on me. I said, Roger, I told you. He emailed me one day and said he was buying pizza for everybody. And I said, Roger, I'm not buying pizza and pop and all this. That's not how this works. You get donations from each dealer. Hey, will you donate something as a door prize? Well, he went out and bought posters and hats and keychains and then tried to stick me with the bill again.
Hold on. I just want to hear about, where did you get $432 from? That's
the $15 per table. And we rented 53 tables. That's $795. I want half of this first show, and I want half of the second show. The other half is his.
All right. So looking at this, what I've got is rooms on 2 different days, right?
Right. 2 different shows.
So that's $500, right?
$500 for the rooms, yes.
And then there's the tables, one at 795 and one at 780, right?
Right, right.
So I add those together, that's $1,575. Add that to the $500, I get $2,075. And you're saying you're responsible for half and he's responsible for half, right?
I'm responsible for half of one of the days of the room, basically $250, and he's responsible for the other $250. All that other stuff he
Right.
bought on his own.
Just a second. Forget that. That is not here.
Okay.
We're not talking about that. Forget that.
Okay.
So the $500 for the 2 rooms, did you pay
Right.
all that?
What happened was people were paying on Facebook and all that. So Roger collected all the money. And the day of the show, I had to go up and find out where the Dropbox was so we could put the money in the Dropbox. So Roger paid the $250 for the rooms, but he also collected all the show money.
Okay, so you're saying he paid for one day's room and you paid for the other day room?
He paid for both days' rooms because he collected
Okay.
all the money for both days.
All right, that's fine. All right, I'm just trying to figure out what happened, okay?
Okay, no
So
problem.
are you saying, so he paid for both rooms?
Yes, out of our show
Okay.
money.
Okay, the tables, all right, so you're saying he paid that not out of his own money, but out of the receipts from the show?
Correct.
Okay, and so the table money is $1,575. That's what was owed for all the tables, is that right?
Well, one is $780, one is $795. That's almost $1,500.
It's actually, that's $1,575.
Okay, and if you take away the 500, that's what.
So, I mean, just a minute. Did you pay for all the tables?
Well, each individual vendor paid him for the tables, depending on how many they had. $15 a
Okay,
table.
so out of your pocket, did you pay any money to E-Free? Oh, let me ask it different. Did E-Free Church supply the tables that you rented?
Yes, they did. They let us use their tables.
Okay. Did you pay any money out of your pocket for for the tables?
No, but neither
Okay.
did he.
Or I'm not. Okay, I'm just asking. Just listen to my question.
No.
So the room money came out of the receipts for the sales, and is it the table money also came out for the sales?
Yeah, the table money was part of the sales. Yes.
Okay, so both the table and the rooms were paid for by the sales. How much did the sales total?
Well, like I said, the one that was on May 17th, we rented 53 tables at $15 a table, which is $795.
Okay, you're not listening to my question. My question is, how much did you get from your sales?
My sales personally?
Well, here's my confusion in this case. You're telling me that the rooms and the tables were paid for out of the show receipts. Is that right?
The rooms was. The tables were paid for by the vendors. To
Okay.
Roger.
All right. But you did not pay for the tables.
No. No, I didn't.
Okay. And you did not, just asking now, you did not pay for the rooms, right?
Well, yeah, in all reality, yeah.
I mean, not out of your own pocket. You didn't reach
No.
into your pocket and say, okay.
No.
So
No, Your Honor.
tell me how you calculated that he owes you $432.
Okay, like I said, if you take the first show, 53 tables, $15, $795. Take away the $250 for the room, and you do the same thing with the second show, that leaves almost $1,000. Well, half of that money is his. Half of that money is mine. He kept all the money, and I haven't got one red cent. And he's telling me.
All right, so hold on. Let me tell you where I'm confused. And you say the vendors, if I want to sell cards there, I have to pay you $15 a table.
Correct.
Right? Okay. And so they pay for it. You don't pay for the tables. He doesn't pay for the tables. the vendor pays for the table, right?
Correct. To him.
Okay. They paid
To
it to
us.
him.
To us, I should
And
say.
okay, so the table vendors has E3 been paid everything they are owed?
Yes. $500.
Okay. Well, were the tables rented from E3
The Ebri Church let us use the tables for free.
for free? Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying now. So you're saying if a vendor comes in and says, I want a table, $15, and you're saying that that table money went to Roger and that you should have, and that was free and clear profit because E3 gave you those tables free.
Yeah. Yes, Your Honor. Every show works the same way. That's the way
Okay,
they all
hold
work.
on. I don't need to know all that. I got to focus on what I need to know to make a decision.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
you're saying that if somebody paid for a table, they gave the money, that Roger got the money, and he should have given you half. Is that right?
Correct.
And that's where you got the $432 from, correct?
Correct. The other half was his.
Okay, all right. I kind of think I'm understanding those. Roger, let me turn. I'm good. Okay, I'm turning to Roger now. Okay, go ahead.
Thing. Roger's problem is I can't get him to understand that he's saying that I'm telling him how to spend that money. That was his money, and
Okay,
because it come out of his bank account.
I want to hear from Roger now.
Okay,
What he has to say.
go ahead.
Roger, you've heard what Rick has said. What do you want to say?
Well, there was a lot of things like I sent in that packet of stuff, my personal expenses that I paid out of my own money, which is, I think it was like 2,300, and then plus another probably 1,500 I paid on top of that I didn't even annotate. But like stuff like the pizza, I paid out of pocket, out of my own personal bank account. That's why we were arguing about, because I spent a lot of my own personal money to put on a good show. I think that's where a lot of that, he just assumed maybe it was. But also, so he sent me a list that I sent him, and it was it was color coded on like who paid and who didn't. Some of the dealers paid with PayPal, that's actually taxable, so I have to pay $10.99 at the end of the year on that. But some people did pay with cash, which is untaxable. But the total, he's confused on the total because I did have a lot of cancellations on both shows, mostly on the second show. And a lot of people couldn't make it or whatever. So his number on the profit from the shows is way lower than he thinks. So it's actually, and then he did agree that to pay for the flyers and the posters or whatever. And I think what page was that? I annotated that. The total of all those was $957.50, and that was just those. But that's fine. Let me see. Okay, actually, on page 4, I wrote the flyers, the signs, the banner. Those, I mean, it's already what he agreed that was okay to spend is already over the budget. And the budget that he thinks is inflated because he didn't really do any work with coordinating any of the event or anything, so he doesn't know how much was actually collected. But I mean, there was a lot of cancellations and stuff, and
That's all right.
All right.
But yeah, he did
not
call and book the.
Go ahead.
What's that?
Just go ahead. Finish what you're
I forgot, Your Honor.
All right. Well,
I lost my
saying
train of thought.
that. Sure. He's saying that he did not agree to pay for the flyers and pizza and stuff like that. Is that right?
That is actually on his statement that I got with my, not the pizza, that was out of pocket, but if you look at, he sent me the paperwork with, when I got served, there was a printed copy, on, let me see. Yeah, so if on one, it's marked on his copy. It's exhibit. Exhibit
Let me
C,
ask
page
you
one.
another, Mr. Kirk, let me ask
Yeah.
you another question. How much, if any, do you believe you owe your uncle?
Nothing, Your Honor, because he didn't put any. He put very, very little time and $0 invested. The only thing he did was find. He called and arranged for us to book the event.
All right.
Can I say
Have you
one more
guys
thing?
ever done business? You guys ever done business before with each other?
No, not really. A little bit of
Not really.
trading and stuff.
We've done like small
If you-
like sports cards deals, but we've never done anything.
If you ever do again, make sure you things are in writing because it makes it real difficult for me to sort it out. You guys just missed each other on all your discussions. That happens. That's not a reflection on either of you, but you both had a different understanding as to what was going on. In legal terms, there wasn't really a meeting of the minds. So I've got another question for each of you, and it's going to be the same question. So let me ask you first, Mr. Rick Kirk, and I think I asked you this already, but I'll ask it again. Did you pay any money out of pocket for the show?
Well, not physically, but that money that he collected was mine also.
Okay, I understand what you're saying,
Yeah,
but you
no,
did not pay any
no,
money out of your
no.
pocket. Okay, all right.
But
And then
go ahead.
let me ask you that same question, Roger. Did you pay any money out of pocket for the show, or for the show? I guess that's the right question.
Yes. Yes. So I mean, I did pay for the show, both the shows, but I was reimbursed out of the money from.
That's really the better question. Did you pay any money out of pocket that you weren't reimbursed for?
Yes, quite a bit.
What?
So
You had said,
well,
going back to that
total-
counter complaint that I did allow, you'd said there's $200 and some.
Yeah,
what you're
yeah.
thinking?
It's probably like around 1,500 without me going over the numbers, but I'm not
How
really
much
seeking
did
that
you
back.
get?
But,
How much did you get from the people who are purchasing or renting tables? How much did you get?
yeah, let me look. I have that all, and I have in that packet I have all the cancellations. That's what all those screenshots were. So I wrote it. There's a one page that has the total calculate. I think it's on the first.
Your Honor, while he looks that up, can I add one more thing?
Sure.
I have in his counterclaim there, he said he was covering all this stuff. He sent me a bill for pizza, ice, pop, all this stuff he said he covered. And I have an email from him that says right here, I told you from the beginning, I do not have a problem spending my own money out of my pocket for the show. But now he's saying he wants all that money back. Why would he spend all that money? That's not what we were trying to do. We were just trying to have a show. He's the one that bought t-shirts and cards and keychains and hats. And I wasn't doing all that. I just was trying to make a few bucks and have a card show. He got carried away with it.
Great. Here's what I'm going to do on this.
So 970.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I'm ready to rule on this. Basically, and I'm going to rule on the counter complaint too. You guys did not have a contract because you did not have a meeting of the minds. Neither of you have any money, or Rick Kirk doesn't have any money out of pocket. Roger Kirk may have some, and that's just, he's going to have to eat that. But I'm indicating there's no cause for action on the complaint or the counter complaint. I'm dismissing this. I realize that may make both of you unhappy, but it's just too jumbled up for me to even begin to make a decision on this. There's no way that I can do it. Your contract suffers from a lack of clarity. So I have filled this out and indicated, and I'm not going to argue it. I've made my decision.
Can I just ask one
No,
question?
no, you can't.
Okay,
You cannot.
okay.
Cannot,
That's
because I
fine.
made my
That's
decision.
fine. That's fine.
I've heard what each have had to say, and and I'm not saying either person is engaged in any wrongdoing. I don't find that. I just
That's
find
fine.
there's no cause for action. Okay, so keep your relationship. Relationship is worth more than money. No question about that, but don't put on a card show again.